Hmm? Ah! Oh.
A few moments ago, I had no candidates. Now I have two.
There is a third one, asking for a private audience with your majesty. Lord Azazel.
Tell him I'll see him tomorrow.
That is a response he will not accept. At least not from me.
This is Sandman Cast, a podcast dedicated to the Netflix series Sandman. Hey, panelers and Podcastica listeners, welcome to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Jayme.
And this is going to be a spoiler-full podcast about Sandman Season 2, Episodes 1 and 2. So this is also a collaborative, so panelers, welcome to the show, and Podcastica listeners, as you already know, because we're exclusively on Podcastica at one point. So this is collaborative. We'll have it on both feeds, on Panels to Pixels podcast, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Same thing with Podcastica. I already spoke to Jason about it, but we're having a good time. Wish we had done this a long time ago, but here we are. And there'll be links too for like YouTube and everything else and all the other stuff that you'll have to suggest to others when I put out the episode when you get it. Now, mind you, we are a little late to the game because Sandman Season 2 literally came out, July 3rd?
July 3rd, yeah.
And they dropped all 6 episodes.
They dropped the first 6. I believe there's another drop of 6.
There's another drop of 6 because they're doing it in sections. This is the first part of Season 2. They called it Chapter 2 in the first episode. So with that, we're going to go right into and doing these episode by episode. So we're only doing 2 tonight. So episode 1, Jayme, give us the title and the synopsis.
Episode 1, Season of Mists. Synopsis is, when a gathering of endless exposes a deep-seated grievances, Morpheus embarks on a mission to hell to free the soul of a condemned mortal. And then episode 2, Ruler of Hell. Bequeathed the key to hell, Morpheus throws a lavish banquet to determine which god, demon, or fairy can be entrusted with its dark power.
Which we'll get into deeply when it comes to that. Episode 2 caught me, and it made me do a lot of thinking. But right now we're going to concentrate on the first episode, which is Season of Mists. And Jayme, what were your thoughts? And possibly, because you're the Sandman comic guru, had you seen this coming from the comics or?
Yes, this is one of my favorite storylines of the comic. So I knew exactly what was coming. I knew exactly what was happening, and I was so excited to watch it unfold.
Okay, cool. Obviously, in this, we do get the siblings come back, except one, gathered together by destiny. And
I know the one that's missing. I know the one that's missing.
The painting was covered, if you look at it, everybody. But they had some great effects in introducing everybody. And Tom Sturridge coming out with the long goth hair at that point, too, because this is a different time from where we left them off in Season 1. And I thought it was great for introduction of every sibling that we got. And I really did like it. I especially like that then Desire coming out. And of course, they give us that lovely art exhibit that they're at that point. And you could see that's what they were doing there. They were showing off some of their artwork, I guess, as a mortal or something in that location. I don't know if it was like that in the comic, but I thought that was an interesting take on it.
Yeah, that was a really cool visual.
And then the song by Hosier.
Yeah, the song was perfect.
Yeah.
The song was actually perfect.
And that song is called Eat Your Young by Hosier, if you guys don't know. But yeah, I love the introduction. Of course, they come in, and I love how they talk about dress code. and obviously, Desire's like, nah. Just come in as who I am.
Yeah, it's fun in the comic because you see them all in their
garb.
Original garb, I guess we'll go with.
Yeah. But Desire tells them why they're there. And he says he was brought to like a meeting with the 3 witches. And they are telling him a king will forsake his kingdom. Life and death will clash and fray. the oldest battle will begin once more. So that's an exact quote from that scene. And they say there's a change of events and upheaval. I thought this was very cryptic. And oddly enough, with the siblings there and gathered around, sitting around a table with Destiny there, giving that information. Of course, we got Dream Morpheus himself, like being like guarded from everything and not wanting to be there, like most of them, but he more than anybody. It felt like a game of Clue with me, with the siblings sitting around the table trying to figure out who it is that's going to fall for this and whose kingdom's going to fail. My first thought was Dream, but as you said before, we are missing that one person in the group of siblings. And
at this point in the comic, we don't know who it is either. I just finished the comic, so I know who it is.
You read it again.
Yeah.
Did you have anything that you liked within it? I liked the whole beginning, the intro, but what I did like was the talk with Death about Nada, and we get the flashback of Nada. Now, this is more of a history of her and Dream and their relationship, so I found it very intriguing. Was that in the comic, and what were your thoughts on that?
Yes, it was in the comic. They tweaked a few things, but nothing outrageous. I think it worked really well the way they did it. I'm not mad about any of it. I thought it was stunning. I thought it was gorgeous. It was well told. And it makes you think about things because, everyone's like, well, you banished her. And he's like, well, I didn't banish her. I gave her a choice. And it's like I love stuff. And we talk about this in our other podcast, like the gray area, like the real interesting stories lie in the gray area. Black and white is only interesting for so long. The real interesting stuff happens in the gray area where you can see a story one way or the other. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, as you grow and change as a person, when you go back and revisit the story, your opinions change because it is that gray, not necessarily right or wrong.
Yeah. I always say there's three sides to a story. It could be depending on a couple, his and his, hers and hers, his and hers, and then the reality within it that we do see within this flashback. And you could see it was done for love, and they did love each other, but he gave her that option, as you could see. And you can see the turmoil in him. And that's what I really liked, for the fact that you could tell that he truly loved her. And then she realizing that she can't love or be with an eternal because it'll cause suffering in the human world, which it did, because what would you call it? A meteor that just dropped onto her kingdom and everything?
Yeah, well, it seemed to be because of their coming together. It created, it was a meteor. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, to me, that's what it looked like. And it destroys. And then she still had to do it for her people. So she felt that she had to torment herself over an eternity instead of having what he would say would be eternal love. And he gave her that option, and she chose that.
Her entire life was to serve her people. And he even said that even in her dreams were to make their lives better, not hers, which is why she hadn't married anyone, because no one lived up to it.
Yes.
No one fit that. She met Dream in her dreams and fell in love with that idea of a person as who she wanted, but didn't find him in the waking world, as we call it. And he shows up, sweeps her off her feet, and then all of a sudden she's back and everyone's gone, and it's her fault. And all she ever wanted was to make things better for them. She knew getting herself involved with, she said it, getting involved, a human or a mortal and an endless will cause destruction. I think she thought she had more time. I think she thought it would be her destruction and not theirs.
Yeah. But that's when she was grieving, and that's why she made the decision that she did, which, it's putting her, she put herself first in front of the people and not having them suffer, which was really honorable. But of course, Dream Morpheus himself did not understand it, and he was at a loss. And of course, this is what begins his journey to go to hell to go get Nada, because he has this conversation with Death and giving her the story and everything. And he winds up leaving. And I love how Death has to come back and speak to the other siblings and like, well, where's Dream? He had something to do. He had to leave.
but that's exactly what Destiny knows is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Destiny is a frustrating and awesome character.
Yes. Yeah. He talks in riddles.
He talks in absolutes.
Pretty much. Almost like to compare it to, because obviously Gaiman worked for DC at one point. There's a character in Crisis on Infinite Earths. If you'll recall, he was, if I could recall the name, probably won't, but he was in charge of this whole situation of why everything was in crisis. And he does the same thing in the way he speaks. And it just makes me laugh because I equate to that character right away. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, Destiny is like, no, I called you here because I was supposed to call you here. And you are here because you are supposed to be here. And that's the answer.
I got to tell you, what's going on? This is what's happening.
This is what's happening. This is what was supposed to happen. And it's happening. All is good.
Exactly. So you get Dream, who is convinced he has to go to hell. He's got to go for nada. And I thought, okay, this is interesting. But then we get he goes back to his realm and tells Lucian, Mervyn, and Matthew. And Matthew's like, I'm coming with you. No, I'm not. You're not coming with me. No. Mervyn's like, oh, great. That typical Mark Hamill gravelly voice and Patton Oswalt going, what are you doing? And before he leaves, he stops off to somebody. Now, I know we discussed this person and the baby from last season. I'm forgetting, but I know it was the baby, and the baby was born in Dreamland.
Right.
And he tells the mother's like, get out. Just, you've seen him, now go. But it was his way of sanctioning or ensuring that the dream realm is taken care of, meaning that the baby would have a way of saving it in some way while he's gone. And the same thing with Hob, who he has meetings with every once in a while. And I remember that episode from last season where it was over countless, over a century or something like that.
Yeah, do they meet every 100 years or every 50 years? I forgot which it was.
I forgot what it was because it was over several times, because we've seen them in almost like a Renaissance time, or before that, even a medieval time, and then in present time where it's like the pub has changed. But he has not, and they have the same bottle of wine, and then he hands them the same bottle of wine, but they're in a dream at that point.
Yep.
So Dream is going to these people in their dreams. Basically, it was his way of ensuring that he had somebody to take care of the dream realm, who he entrusted to, whether it be the baby. I don't think the baby's mom, or Hob.
I don't know that he was entrusting Hob per se. I think he was just going to say, if this is goodbye, goodbye.
Well, I won't be there for the next meeting, he said.
Possibly. Yeah. I think the Hob thing was just a goodbye.
Yep.
I think the baby, you're right, was an insurance plan.
Yes.
But Hob was just a goodbye. But it was nice to catch up with him again.
Yeah, it was. It was cool to see that character.
Yeah, and then I knew the wine was going to be on the night. I thought at first he was going to pull the wine out from under the pillow, because a lot of the scene, his hand was under the one pillow, and then they cut to one scene where one side his hand's under the pillow, and they cut, and he's laying on his back with both arms up. I was like, okay, so the wine is not under the pillow, and then so when they started panning out, I'm like, it's going to be on the nightstand. I was like, yes, I knew it was going to be there.
It was a given for the fact that I did remember that they had shared a specific bottle of wine. Yeah. I don't know if I read that from the comic. I'm going back. I didn't get the chance to reread everything, everybody, but I didn't get a chance
to reread either. This is all going off my memory of. Life's been crazy lately.
Yes, it has. And then in the end, we see Dream in the end stating that he was afraid because he had to go to hell.
Yeah.
And they see him, of all people, state that he is afraid, because usually he has this presence, this tone and stature about himself.
But I mean, he made some trouble in hell last time he was there, and he knows it.
Yes, he did.
He knows he's going back to war. Like if he's going back, he's going to literally fight for his life.
Yes. But yeah. And it kind of ends on that note, because he's standing in front of hell at that point. Like he's in the land, but he's got his helmet on. at the end of the episode, and he's facing it, and we're getting the narration from him saying that he was afraid. And I already gave a couple of quotes in here, but the only other quote I would have for this particular episode would be from Delirium. And she goes, and they were talking about losing time. And she goes, I lost time. I lost some time. It's always in the last place you look for it.
I love Delirium. We didn't talk about her yet, but I am so excited to see her. She is one of the favorite characters. Like, she's just so cute and fun and literally colorful.
Mm-hmm.
In the comic, her hair is always a bunch of different colors, and she's got the butterflies swirling around her all the time. And
yes,
she's, the rest of the Endless are all pretty dark. Desire has her pop of red, but the other ones are all pretty black and white and dark. And then all of a sudden you have Delirium and just this color, and she's always drawn like shaky, and she's drawn completely differently. And she's just so much, she adds a lightness, even when she's talking heavy topics, like you don't realize it.
Yeah. Overall, the episode I thought was fine. It was a great reintroduction of Sandman because it's been so long since we had seen it. I think it said, 2022?
It was August of 2022 was when it released. And then everything was dropped. Did we have a writer's strike, or I feel
something?
Like
yes,
was it
yes.
COVID
we were just
something.
after COVID, but it was the writer strike and the actor SAG-AFTRA strike at the same time, and things were delayed, and some things got filmed for this, but they had to halt filming.
Yeah, I knew they had started filming because I remember seeing some like images of the filming, and then they had to stop it. The writing had been done, but they had to stop filming.
Yeah.
And then there's the whole Neil Gaiman debacle.
That's what I like to call it. But we're not going to go into that, listeners. That's a whole thing to itself. If you're a big, huge Neil Gaiman fan, you want to go research that and not familiar with it, it's all over the internet.
But that's why this is our final season, which makes me sad.
But we're going to just concentrate on the episodes, not talk about the man himself. We'll only reference him and what the material is, what he brought before, things of that nature. That's about it.
Yeah, no, that's the reason that this is our last season, which is very, very sad.
Yeah, because at this point, Netflix kind of just dropped everything.
Yep.
But at least we're getting this. It's a last hurrah.
Yeah, but we're getting this storyline. There's always more stories.
That is true. Right now, I guess we can move right along into episode 2.
Well, one other thing.
Go ahead.
This episode had Goldie. I love Goldie.
Well, episode 2 had Goldie.
Yes, but we saw her back in this one too. I was very excited. She's my Netflix icon.
It was very short glimpse of Goldie.
That I don't care. I still like seeing her. I was very excited.
But we get a cool thing at the very end of episode 2 where you see more Goldie. Yes. And it's hilarious. I thought this one really encaptured my thoughts. It really grasped me and got me digging in. I'm like, after I just finished rewatching it just before we came on, I was like, I really want to jump to the 3rd and 4th right now. But
yes,
I got sleeps I got to do, and I have work training in the morning. So I'm not going to get to this until another day this week while I can make my notes, but also do a couple of rewatches. But it's already grasped my attention to get back into it. I did not get a chance to watch this when it dropped on the 3rd because it was a holiday weekend. Things happen. You got family, everything.
Same.
Yeah, just like, especially when new movies come out this past weekend. Jurassic World Rebirth came out and a whole bunch of other things. So I didn't get to see that either. But I would have ordinarily just been like, I'll just do a once over for all the episodes and then come back and rewatch them to build up notes and get ideas and thoughts cumulatively. But watching it independently now and just watching them a couple of times each actually works out better. I'm liking this format again. I used to watch everything and then go back to it because my memory sucks. But overall, I really did enjoy. This was like my favorite out of the two for the fact that there was so much going on, but also created a lot of good questions, but also answered a few, which are great. So we got Dream finally in hell, and he's finally there, but it's all empty. He's there with his helmet on, walking through, and it's desolate. And he walks through the gates, and there's nobody around, and until he's greeted by Lucifer herself.
Yeah.
And
he's he is prepared to fight for his life.
yes,
he's ready to possibly die.
Mhm.
And that's not what happens.
Nope. So apparently Lucifer has given up in some way, saying they sent all the demons and the damned and the unborn away, and saying, I quit.
Yeah, I've been doing this for 10 billion years and I'm over. And the one thing that always stuck with me from this story was when Lucifer says, I never did anything to them. I never made them do anything.
Yes, I have a cool quote about that. It just blows my mind. It's basically calling the people that come to hell, they're the ones that are asking it for the torture and everything. They're masochists.
Or they feel that they did wrong and they deserve this.
Correct.
Whether it's true or not, like nada.
Well, here, Lucifer's quote on that is, they chose hell. That is what hell is, a place for dead mortals to torture themselves. And like all masochists, they give the orders. Burn me, eat me, freeze me. And what do I get out of it? Nothing for her, literally.
Yeah.
So it's like she's being denied any pleasure out of it. It's them. It makes you think it's the opposite of Hellraiser, everybody, if you ever watched that series.
And she doesn't want the souls. Like everybody's like, oh, you sell your soul to the devil for fame, in our waking world, the devil made me do it, or I sold my soul for fame or whatever. And the devil's like, no, all of this is because of the creator and because humans are doing it to themselves.
Yeah.
She's just the one running the show.
She's just playing host.
Yeah.
If you think it's like, okay, you came here, I'm just the host. What do you want? What is your pleasure, sir? Not to coin a phrase from Hellraiser. Anyhow, and then the interesting take was Mazikeen showing up to Lucifer, all emaciated as they look, and the makeup was done great. If it was a mix of makeup and CG, it looked really good. Stating that she is her sovereign, and she's like, I am not your sovereign any longer.
I really thought that she was gonna, for a second there, I thought she was gonna like kill herself or
you thought that Mazikeen was going to do something to themselves in response to Lucifer, and it never happened. She was just like, and then she like just basically dismisses her.
Yeah.
And this is when we get, I thought to myself, is this the fallen kingdom that Destiny spoke about?
Right.
And because you would think Lucifer, but even though they said he, it could be he or she or they or them. Let's get our pronouns right in descriptive formats. But they did not do that in the show. They could have just said, vaguely and just gave us that even more elusive way of saying it. But I was like, wow, is this it? And asking the dream to cut off her wings.
That was
wild.
Wild and like just the cinematography and in the show, but especially this episode was incredible. And
the composition for the music during these scenes was amazing. It really grasped you and got you involved with the scene because you could get the feeling of what Dream was going through, what Lucifer wanted, and you really felt for the characters. And Dream thought at this point, even at that point, still Lucifer was going to fight, but he does what she asks and he cuts her wings. And then, of all things, she gives Dreams the keys to hell. Basically cursing Dream with hell because it's one of the two biggest realms, powerful realms out there. So you got above and then this is below. They don't necessarily state heaven, but it's alluding to heaven and hell. And Lucifer kind of like does that. And you could see the look on Morpheus's face when he takes the key. He's like, oh, crap.
Yeah. No, he knew what it was. Is like the second Lucifer said, I promise not to hurt you within the confines of hell. Like whenever anybody puts a caveat.
Yeah, it was a caveat because they were outside the gate at this point, and then she just hands him the key at that point.
Yep.
And it's like it literally is hurting him in a sense for the fact she's giving him the key. It's either he could fall from grace or lead all of hell as well as Dreamland, or the Dream Realm. Can't say Dreamland. Dreaming. There you go. And that's why the look on his face is so like, oh no. Then he set out on his own personal mission, and he's thinking, I'm going to fail and I'm going to crumble, but I have to go back. So then he goes back, and he speaks to Lucien, he speaks to Matthew and to Mervyn, and lets them know. And Lucien's like freaking out, going, "What? You got a key to hell? What, sir? You already have a realm. What are you gonna do?" And then he said that armies would be coming, every deity would be coming for him, and either to wage war against his realm to get the key so they could take over hell, or who knows, to plunder everything that he's got. And then he just comes to an idea of like, well, let's invite them all in. They're already outside the gates of my realm. Let them all in. And the first person you see and hear is Thor.
Well, he also goes to his sister for help.
Yes,
before
he
even lets anybody in. I love how
and
much.
That's like, I already have enough. After she emptied out everybody from hell, I got to recapture all these souls.
Yeah.
And get them where they need to go, whether it be heaven, limbo, whatever. And she was like, nope, ain't gonna have it. Clean up your own mess. But yeah, then he sees the long line and the armies outside. Literally, it's like a whole bunch of people. But it's cool to see that visual, though, as he's standing there in front of the door, but above, and then you're looking below from the top. But you got the dragon, you got a griffin, you got a unicorn, or a Pegasus, actually.
Yeah, I love the dragon.
Yeah,
it was. Thor's not scared of the dragon at all. I would be terrified of the dragon.
Yeah, he's just cursing his brains out. Let us in. Blah, 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 blah. I got my Mjolnir, and I'm gonna bang you. Let me in. But you don't realize who he's with until they get in. Right. So basically, and then Dream tells Lucien and the rest, we're gonna hold a banquet, have them all come in, and he creates a room for all of them, for all their desires, for a banquet, like food, drink, whatnot. And then slowly, as they all come in, you get to meet Odin, Loki, Thor. After that, you get to meet Azazel.
We've met Azazel before, but
yeah, Lord Kilderkin and the Princess of Chaos.
Oh my God, I loved her.
Oh my God, that was like a bunch of horror in one little girl.
Yes.
And then, yeah, the Kilderkin was interesting. Then we get the fairies.
Well, we also get don't we get the God of Sea and Storms first?
Yes, we do. And then there's I forgot the Asian gentleman.
I forgot. I was trying to write down names.
Yeah, I was like,
I gotta go look that one up too. And I just missed that one. But I know he's the God of Sea and Storms.
Okay. And like I said, the brother and sister that are fairies, Chloricon and then Nawala. Yeah. And the way she had said it is that we are akin to hell because we bring 7, what was it, souls every.
They must pay a tithe to hell.
Tithes to hell, and it's 7 every. What was it? Every year or something like that.
Or was it every 7 year? 9 every 7 years? I forgot what it was. I didn't write it down
exactly, but you guys could yell at us later.
Yeah, but basically they're the only ones there who don't want to run hell. They want to keep it closed.
Yes. And Chloricon is more there for the banquet and party.
Yes.
And the one thing that I got out of it, and of course I knew this was going to happen because he's holding a banquet, everybody's going to be sitting on their own, and I was like, great, they're all going to come up to him in their own way and offer something to Dream to give hell to them for their own purpose and needs. And I knew this in the back of my head because that's just genuine writing and how you already introduced us to these characters. They all have a specific want and need from the character that has something that they are wanting from, and they're going to try to prove that they're right to have whatever he has to give and prove they're right by doing it and saying, hey, and he was approached by almost everybody. The little Princess of Chaos that was an interesting one. How she goes from little girl to a super crazy clown.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
And showing that she would just like, she basically said she wanted to, like, we will just take over whatever, and enhance him. And it felt like something out of the movie and original TV series, miniseries, It, with Pennywise with a red balloon. But then we had Lord Tilderkin, who apparently is in a box with his presenter. They have notes in there and stuff for him. Tilderkin, he was offering him all the dreams of dead souls for his own needs to dream.
Mm-hmm.
And Dream was like, I could have had that anyway if I wanted to. You have nothing to offer me. Literally, he blatantly states it. Not like that, but in his own way, in his own verbiage. And I thought that was pretty cool. It's like, oh, yeah, you just easily dismissed him.
Right.
Then you got, well, we already talked about the fairies. We already talked about them. I forgot, like you said, about the sea person. What they were trying to offer. I kind of passed over it. I don't know why. And then who else is left? Oh, Odin and Thor.
Odin
and Azazel.
And Azazel. And just as a comic book reader, there was one god left off that was in the comic that I wanted to see and was not here. I was being a little petty about that one.
Who was that?
The Egyptian god Bast. A cat god or a cat female god, god of cats and women.
Oh, that would have worked well since last season we got Calliope.
Yes, I thought we were going to get it. I was shocked that we didn't.
But yeah, we get Odin saying, and he's basically, and Dream is very leery of Loki because the god of mischief right there is a pain in the neck.
In every adaptation.
Yeah. And even Loki knew that Dream was eyeballing him and says, there's a problem here. And
yeah. I love the Billy Idol look of
yes, that's
Loki.
what I was gonna say too. Yeah, he looked just like Billy Idol or Sting from Dune.
Yeah.
Just not in the tidy briefs. Anyhow, yeah, and then we get Odin literally having a conversation, but this is after Thor's attack upon Merkin, after he tries to pursue her in her own way. And there was a cheap shot about her hair. And if you guys know what a Merkin is, I'm sure you are. If you're all adults, this is for adults. It's made out of pubic hair. It's a wig made out of pubic hair. But,
and if you didn't know Thor's immediate words right after, to basically tell you.
Yes. And she winds up attacking him. And
dude, she's so
the
cool.
pincers on her chest that come out is amazing. And
she's so cool.
She's so badass. And then through that you could see Dream was not having it, and he makes Thor's hammer Mjolnir turn to sand.
Right. Because everyone, same rules as Game of Thrones. If you invite you in as a guest, you are under my protection.
Yep.
So your guests can't hurt each other either.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not allowed to hurt each other. But yeah, we have that little encounter between them. And then after that, Odin actually has a conversation with Dream and saying how if he were able to take on Hell, he would be able to deal with the Frost Giants, all that stuff that's in his realm where they have several sections and they do have problems. And he basically said, I'm not going to be here forever. So meaning that he would be leaving everything to Thor and Loki at that point.
Yeah. But he also has one other very important piece of information as trade.
Correct. And what was that?
He knows the location of the lost sibling.
Yes. And that to him was an interesting, that you could see Dream's gears are grinding right there and he's interested. So I'm like, ooh, this is amazing. I like this.
Yeah.
Because it was the one thing that you knew that was going to happen. Like, you could tell the fairies intrigued him. And I think that's one that he was considering, and definitely Odin. But the last is because Lucien was like, oh, Azazel is looking for you. He goes, I'll talk to him in the morning. But later on, he does show up. And he winds up, because in a previous scene, we get to see Merkin take Chlorokin and basically use him as bait, because last season we saw the flashback of Dream there, how Chlorokin and him had problems together in hell. And they thought, Azazel thought, oh, you want vengeance on this. You want vengeance on him. So we'll offer it to you. And he's like, I don't want any vengeance.
That scene with Merkin and him was really cool.
Yes. Yeah. Because you can see the spiders coming out of the sleeve, or the spider eggs.
So cool.
And then just wrapping them up in webbing.
Oh, so cool.
But Azazel comes out as a demon, almost, in the sense of like his visage, and spits out Chlorokin. And he was like, well, here it is. You can take your vengeance. I don't need for vengeance. It's like, oh, okay, that's not going to tempt you. And then he starts to go into his little diatribe about Nada, saying, I have a 10,000 a human that has been sentenced to hell for 10,000 years and has already served and has been missing from hell because after hell emptied out. And then he has, through his mouth, and you could see her somewhere inside the webbing and everything, trying to break out, screaming for him. And then that's when Dream is like, no, because that's what he's been looking for.
And I mean, Azazel in their true form, with the 3 heads and the mist and oh my God, was that amazing.
Yeah. This is not something you could do in practical effects, obviously.
No. And then seeing Nada still being tortured inside, Azazel obviously took her and knew what he was doing when he did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He knew that.
Because he felt that he's owed that, because he basically tells Dream, I have all the demons that have been outcasted from hell after Lucifer left. I have to take care of them and find them a realm to go to. Give us hell back and I'll take over. And you can tell that Dream doesn't really trust him in any way. And that's the whole reason behind it. But as soon as he's thrown that information and sees Nada, that's when he's like, you can tell in his face he's torn. And you wonder where, now he's got 3 options with hell and what he could do with it. What we won't know until we get to the next episode, whether or not we haven't gone there yet. But it was, to me, this really grasped my attention and made me pay attention a lot more of the character. And Sturge does a great job as the character with his presentation and how he could be so stoic at certain points and then take command. Yeah, as the character, it just amazes me.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so interesting. I can't wait to watch the next episode.
The one thing I did really enjoy, and let's talk about it, Cain and Abel,
the magic not magic show.
The magic not magic show. Yep,
the torture show.
But we get the assistant Goldie hanging around.
Hey, Goldie.
But there's some at points there's like a grinder with intestines and flesh.
Well, first he saws him in half, and like the normal magic trick. But then when you open it up, instead of it being, oh look, everything's fine, like nope, all of these intestines
pop out.
Oh, that was so funny.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool, but it was nice to see that as like a little levity in the tension that was going on within the scene in between, because this was in there in between the time Dream was having all these little side conversations within, I would say, his castle outside the banquet.
Yeah, and it would be rude of Dream not to entertain his guests.
Correct.
And I also, when he signed off, he's like, tell your friends if you like it, and if not, I hope you get throat cancer and can't say anything to anybody.
Exactly. I got that. That's the quote I really liked.
Yeah, for a split second I was like, maybe we should make that our sign off. No, that's not nice.
But yeah, and it kind of leaves off at that point, because the last scene literally is of Dream seeing everything with Azazel and everything else, and it just like, it's cliffhanger time at that point, and
Yeah.
we won't know until you get into episode 3 or 4. I haven't even looked. I didn't even tease myself. I stopped it right there
I
every
did
time.
too. It was so hard.
It's hard to do so, but I had to, and I knew so, because I was like, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to spoil myself, and I'll probably say something stupid about
Yep.
the next episode. And I'm like, you know what? Nope, not doing it. Because we like to do it. Like I said, we're going to come at you with this podcast doing 2 episodes at a time. There's 6. So we got 1 and 2, 3 and 4 will be next week. And then 5 and 6. But yeah, look forward to that. But yeah. As far as notes, I don't have any other notes. The only thing I had notes wise was the Hosier song that I will actually, since I have my notes, and I'll put that in. You could probably find that on YouTube or whatever listening. So, but well, that was our coverage, I think, for those 2 episodes.
The only thing that I remembered that I wanted to bring up from the first episode that I forgot was Delirium mentioned, she's like, we haven't looked for our brother or our sibling. I forgot what they said.
Yeah, they said sibling.
Yeah, we haven't looked for our sibling, and said, well, they told us not to go after them. And Delirium's like, but sometimes people say that just to see if you will, to know if someone cares enough to look for you, which I thought was because people do, humans at least do that, like say they're going to leave just to see if you get chased.
Yeah, it's a human thing, but you don't see it in a deity.
You never know. These deities get pretty bickery.
Well, they also do fall in love with humans.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. As always, like we like to do podcast recommendations towards the end of the podcast. So do you have any, Jamie?
Right now, I'm listening a lot to a podcast called Creepy,
cool.
Which is just ghost stories. And then there's another one called, what's it called? Oh, Radio Rental. It's from The Office. What's his name? Rainn Wilson from The Office.
Oh.
But it's real life scary stories.
Ooh.
Yes. And then there's, of course, our Podcastica.
Yes.
Sibling podcasts.
Yep. Run for Your Lives.
Excellent.
Ben and Alex. Becky was actually on there recently, too, for Dead City when they wrapped up Dead City.
They did a great job on that one.
Becky, Mandy, and a variety of different people have been doing the Poker Face podcast, too. That's found on Podcastica as well.
Becky, I haven't watched that one.
Becky, as all you panelers know, and everybody on the Pirate Core Entertainment Network know, or the Pirate Core Entertainment podcast, but no, she covers what's on tonight, and they just finished and wrapped up The Better Sister. So next up with that, we'll be covering Dexter, the next Dexter show that's coming out. So
I'm excited for that.
So you'll be getting some people from Podcastica guesting on there as well. I'll be on there occasionally. I thought it was just going to be me and Becky. And then she goes, I was like, fine. I was like, have more people. You don't necessarily have to have me on all the time.
And Jason's killing it with the coverage of Squid Game.
Yes. I have to finish Squid Game. I haven't even.
I may have watched all of the season and not kept up week to week like I usually do. This time I just went right through it.
Awesome. But to keep you Podcastica listeners notified, Jason had some issues with some of the old podcasts because he changed platforms at a certain point for hosting. And basically, they're coming after all the podcasts. So they kind of got removed off Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and a few others. You can't find them sometimes. If you need to go to older episodes, go to podcastica.com. All the episodes are up directly from there, and you can listen directly from there if need be. He's got over 1,000 podcasts to go through that have music on there, hitting you for copyright, like literally for copyright, music copyright, just to keep you informed. But he's trying to re-edit them, and it's very hard to do so, trust me. When for Panels, the Pixels podcast, and yeah, that was it. That was the only one. Panels only got hit for 4 episodes for copyright. issues, and they deleted them off, and I could re-edit them. They were Moon Knight because I specifically put in a song that was featured in it, and they were like, no, and they took it off. So I said I didn't want to contest it. I said, and it says in there to say I could re-upload. I'll re-edit and put it up there. Everything else is still continuous and still in continuity. We are no longer part of Buzzsprout as hosting, so I'm on Spotify Creators, just to let you guys know. But we do get feedback from all that stuff. So for that, I'm going to discuss to you a little bit more about feedback. Let's go into Podcastica. So, Jayme, do you want to let us know how they could send stuff to Podcastica?
If you would like to leave us some feedback or just say hi, you can send us an email or voice message at talk@podcastica.com. And if you head to podcastica.com, there's a handy voice message link. And you can also check us out on social media, facebook.com/podcastica, Twitter @podcastica, and Instagram @housepodcastica. And we're not going to bother setting up our own Sandman stuff because this is the last season.
Yeah. Yeah. You could easily get us directly. For you panelers or even Podcastica guys, listeners, you could literally reach us to us for when we do more content. We're putting more stuff out there. Actually, we'll be doing the new Superman movie. We'll probably do a comparison of Man of Steel, the original Superman, and the new one that just is coming out soon. So Rob, Frank, Adam, myself might actually do a whole podcast here on Pounds the Pixels podcast. Check that out. That way, if you wanted to get in touch with us, there's other stuff that's coming out that's in the mix. Gen V is coming out eventually soon. Everything keeps ramping up, and by the time I get to it, I was like, it just hits us all of a sudden. But you could get in touch with us. All you have to do is go to our Facebook group, facebook.com/panelstopixels. You could just email us directly your thoughts at panelstopixels1@gmail.com. Panels 2 spelled out TO, pixels, and the number 1@gmail.com. You can write out your thoughts. We'll read them. So whatever you have thoughts here and you want to send it to me directly, you can do it there. Usually we post a picture of what we're covering, and I'll be doing this next week. So you could go to our Facebook group, and when you'll see the picture of Sandman or the episode image, and then just leave your comments below. What's on on Facebook, I was going to say Instagram, is on Instagram. So basically it's all meta. So you'll see our Facebook group and our Instagram if you follow us on Instagram, which is Pounds the Pixels podcast on Instagram. We can be found on YouTube, and we do get comments as well. All you have to do is search for Panels the Pixels podcast. If you get Panels the Pixels, it's Josh, and he's out in England. He does a different version of whatever he does. But please subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up if you like what we do. So to let you guys know, I can not only be heard here, but I can be found on my other podcast, Adrenaline Cinema Podcast, or the Pirate Core Entertainment Podcast, where we host a variety. I already mentioned it, What's On Tonight, Dinner with Her, and the Pirate Core Music Podcast, which we're going to get back to. My friend Jayme and I are going to do, not Jayme who's here.
Different Jayme.
Different Jayme. My buddy Jayme is into music therapy and everything. He loves Slipknot, and they have this whole thing about therapy on their end on a backline for gaining awareness for mental health. So he's going to talk about that a little bit. I believe, yeah, my friend Rob Murr is going to be on, and we're going to, for Adrenaline, we're going to do Rad, the movie. We're going to eventually do that. I keep talking about that for months, but we haven't gotten together yet. But we are going to do the Iron Maiden 50th anniversary, so check that out. We'll let you guys know. But that's about it from me. Jayme, you could be heard here as always. You usually show up. We're going to be doing Invincible on Pounds the Pixels. We're going to finish up season 3, and then we'll probably move on to other things too. We'll keep you guys aware of that.
It's always Friday the 13th to get back to.
That is true on Adrenaline Cinema. Everybody.
And it looks like they might be making the show again.
Yes, Linda Cardellini is set to play Mrs. Voorhees. That's from what they say, but we'll see. I want to see an official list of people. And see if Mr. Greg Nicotero takes over and effects would be great.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
All right, so next week we're covering season 2, episodes 3 and 4. I don't have a description of the episodes or the titles, but we'll let you know when it comes out, when you see it on Facebook or on Instagram. So, Jayme?
Pleasant dreams or unpleasant nightmares, everyone. Take care.
And I just want to thank everyone for listening. I'm Mark.
I'm Jayme.
And for you panelers, same podcast, different panel, different pixel. And this was Panels to Pixels Podcast, and we'll see you on the next panel.
This was Sandman Cast, and we will podcast in your dreams. Good night.
Unpleasant dreams, though.
Well, it's better than wishing people throat cancer.
We'll leave that towards the end.
Thank you. If you enjoyed the show, tell your friends. If you didn't, I trust you'll get throat cancer and die without ever again uttering another word. Good night.